Welcome to session number 2 of our run through Wordplay, the full release version of the word game by Mark Brown of the game design channel on YouTube that many of my viewers already know, Game Maker's Toolkit. In our previous session, we just went straight through the available difficulties so far. Easy mode, everything was locked behind it. We just did a very casual run through that, and then went up through normal. Hard, we had a bit of a close call on it because we were kind of messing around and hunting for achievements and taking it pretty easy, but we had a pretty smooth ride through Legendary on our first attempt. And so, a couple of memorable plays so far to look at and think about and hopefully exceed as time goes on. So for today's session, we'll be looking at the marathon mode. Can you survive all 20 rounds? So in terms of the round count, easy just started with 10, hard and normal were set at 12, legendary was set at 14, and of course the difficulty scaled according to a couple of other different factors as well, like your starting pool of how many attempts you have remaining, how many plays, as well as the scaling of what the point threshold is in order to proceed from round to round. That's the major difference, I would say. And in Legendary, because it was extended to 14 rounds, you also had a few more of the boss rounds that had special constraints on what the player was allowed to do, and those you'll recognize immediately because they have the red background. Also note that we're on version 1.02 already on day 2 of the game. We were just playing on 1.0 yesterday, but as far as I can tell, it was just a lot of hotfix patches early on to deal with some unexpected collisions between certain effects not playing well with each other. For example, an effect that recognized Y as a vowel not properly functioning with other effects that were bonuses based on vowels, for instance. But those have been pretty rapidly fixed as we've come along, and I haven't really had issues with that myself that I can tell. Apart from some awkwardness with a keyboard entry sometimes, perhaps. So anyway, marathon mode, 20 rounds. We don't know how the other scaling factors are going to compare. But I can say that right now the achievement rate on Steam for marathon mode is pretty much identical to that of legendary mode. They're sitting at about 1.2% right now, and obviously it will go up as more people actually play through the game. And we'll see how that compares. We are hunting for the Steam achievements, so we're still using the default WordNick dictionary. It does have some limitations, and we've run into issues already with trying words that are valid in Scrabble but not valid here. But that hasn't been too crippling, and we do know how to mod the game to change that, but that does disable the achievements, so we're not doing that just yet while we're just trying to clear off everything we can. After marathon mode, we'll see what we have time for today. We may get into the quick play where we don't know what it means to play for gold, but there is some achievement for that as well. And a couple of other things that we might want to set up along the way. So that's a bit of a lengthy preamble as usual, so let's get in and play immediately. Okay, so it actually starts out with a 40-point threshold, which I think compares to normal. So it actually has a gentle start. In fact, it gives you 12 attempts to start. So it's actually slightly easier than normal in round 1. 40 points, I think, is a threshold that we can probably hit just in a single play, and we should try to do that to conserve plays for later. So let's take a look at this and see what we can put together. I see that we could begin with the over prefix. That's also immediately one of the first things I look at when we have the V on the board. You can also have something like a walkover. We'll consider that. We might find something better. We'll just see if we can get over 40. Meeting the threshold is the most important priority. So in terms of bonuses, we already have 25 in bonuses, so we just need 15 in face value. We have that. Yes, we do. 5, 16, 20, etc. So this will just be a walkover. It leaves way too many A's in our stash here, but we'll be picky about that in later rounds, perhaps. Okay, this stuffs the bag with more tiles of your choosing. If a tile has a score of 1, make 10 of them. That seems like it really upsets the balance, though. Unless you have major duplication effects that you want to take advantage of that synergize with that. 20 bonus points if it ends with D. That's not bad. G has a lot of endings, particularly with ing, so I think this is easily going to be what we'll go for. And of course, you do need to draw into those. It does potentially overstuff us with G's, that's the concern with that. But maybe we can take advantage of duplication effects to mitigate that later, because being stuffed with G's is kind of a famous newbie trap in a Scrabble context. We actually should have looked at this and thought that for the purposes of this round, the 20-point bonus from the D is actually much, much better if we wanted to immediately get over the threshold. So maybe we should have looked at the pool first and reconsidered that. Anyway, we will think about this. We immediately see breadth. I don't think I'll get over 75 this turn. We actually could have, I think, if we had picked the D effect. We have... Let's see, how much does this get me? Oh, that's about... Yeah, 15, 20 here, 25, 28, not great. We can probably try to get something that will go much further if we can. Something like an NTH ending, but I don't necessarily think we'll get that. Something with a pre-start or an ED ending. Let's think about that for just a moment. We have things like another, but that doesn't go very far. We want to stretch longer than that, I think, to get a very strong first turn, since we don't have any active effects going right now. And yeah, so we have pronated. And we can probably do a lot better than that, though. But let's take a look at the bonuses. We've got 25 in bonuses, 11 in face value. That's 36. That gets about halfway. I'd like to find something longer. But we'll see how likely that is. Yeah, we've seen a lot of 7s. Pronated is the only 8 that we've seen for the length bonus so far. There are probably some things that we can go longer with. If something was starting with hair or something, like well, or something with a bi prefix, like a bio prefix, air prefix, like airhead, airport, air, arrow. No, not quite. Aerobatic, not quite. Don't have to C for that. I think let's just go pronated and try to draw into something better. We'll try to make it over 75 with a second play. Okay, Q is here. We don't really have a lot of the longer Q without U words that we could take advantage of here, unfortunately. I see a couple of things already, like a Terra. That doesn't get us over, I don't think. We need 39 points. But what is it? Again, you know, if we go for something like Brett, let's actually count it. Only 15 in bonuses, though, so I feel like that's going to fall far short. Harbored. That's a lot better. That might get us over. It's going to be 25 in bonuses. If it's 25 in bonuses, we need 14 in face value. 10, 14 exactly. That will hit exactly. At least without any bonuses, it's so easy to calculate. Let's just take it. Yeah, because hitting the threshold with the fewest plays possible is how you have to get through this to bank up plays. Anyway, when submitting the fourth tile, we'll score 3 times points. These are always good. If the word begins with J, multiply the final score by 2. I find that this is something that we can't hit consistently enough. I love the final score multipliers, but we usually want them to be something that we can at least attempt every single round, and depending on the letter selection, that's just not always possible. And yeah, this one was actually not the best to do. We'll do this one. We haven't had this in 4th position before. We've had it in 2nd position, which is excellent. So for example, right here, we can see sync over here, and that'll be already 35 if we want to go for that. And we can add an additional 6 if we want 41 points off of that. But we'll see if we can do a bigger play that can get us all the way up to 80. If, for example, we have something like a J perhaps in that position, or N. Again, we should have actually looked at what we have before picking our perk, because first of all, the feature now exists, and secondly, we could have seen that a J was already in our pool, or something that could have been quite useful. And okay, well, let's see about this. IEST ending. I'm thinking about whether we can actually... Oh, also, you can... Kindars. This only puts the bonus on the D, but let's see if this does better than what we were looking at earlier. Would have been nice to have the K for the Kindarka. But 15 there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, this is about the same as mid-30s. I'd like to get something here. No. Not quite. We would usually need something like another O for joins or other things like that. Well, even if we have a C in this spot, that might not be bad, because I was thinking, you know, things like ditchers, for instance. So, for example, this would give you 15, 25 worth of bonuses. Yeah, if we can't hit the 80, though, we're probably going to go with something to dump the Q. Because then we would plan around using 2 turns to get up to that point. You got 9, 10 here, 15, and 20, 30, 40, 45. That gives you about halfway over. I think it's actually better to just go for this and just get rid of it, and then we only need to score 40-something for the next turn. But I'm still looking, because I feel like we can definitely do a lot better than what was searched for so far. We could always just go for something long and see if we can do something that way. So we have something like the LESS ending, the NESS ending. And also, yeah, if we... think about this. I had G. Let's try that. And we might even go for the S on the end. I don't know if it would be in the dictionary, but it really should be. 20, 24. Yeah, none of these actually scored that well. Like, even if you do something to go even further. But, so I think we'll just take this first of all. We'll actually dump an S on it just to try to get us over the line for further points. And then we'll just try to do it in 2 moves instead. Maybe there was a way to do it in 3. So now we don't necessarily have a good way to end with a G in this particular configuration, but we will see what we can find along the way. As long as we can get something that scores 39, we're fine. So even if it's something like Defang, then that's on the final score, right? Or no, this is the word score. I'm trying to remember what the order is in terms of word score versus final score. Maybe it's just the word score before any of these bonuses, I think. In this case, you would expect a calculation that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, then it's 26, and then we better add 1 just in case. No, except that kills the bonus. Okay, never mind. I'm just trying to make sure that this will actually score enough. You count this one first. 26 base score. 36 after this. I feel like it's going to fall short. Yeah, because we would like to get over the line. Just to conserve plays for as long as we can. Well, let's see what we can do. Something with like a hog ending or a song ending or something that would get us just 1 tile over. We just need really 1 additional tile. The other thing that we can just do is maybe forget about that entirely, and then maybe even jargoned. Let's just think about that, because then you just get a 6 on this. That's 21 base value. This should give you enough. Yeah, so we don't use the G effect after all then. And that gets you safely over. Okay, let's actually remember to look at what we have this time and what we've drawn into before we pick things. When submitting, convert the 7th tile into a golden tile. I like this because we've got a lot of rounds remaining, and there is an achievement for playing the 10 golden tiles at the same time if you stash them. And so starting to conversion this early, whenever we play 7s, essentially can really rack up points in the long run. We just need to consistently play 7-letter words, which is not a problem. So we can even use the marathon to try to set up the Midas Touch achievement, which is one of the least achieved achievements so far on the current board, but of course a lot of things are subject to change. I think we definitely take this. And then we can also get the ing ending over this one. Oh, yeah, okay, it says G for golden. You don't actually need to put a G there, of course. So I'm already seeing something like flashing. It triples the S instead of the H, but that's okay. I think we can probably do something better than that, though. Splatting. Let's see. I don't. Oh, and with the G on the end, of course. Maybe we can do better than that, though. given that we're leaving some of the higher points on the table. Well, let's take a look at this first and just get an estimate of how we're doing. 35 in bonuses. 28 in face value. Yeah, it doesn't matter what we put here. We'll just try to, play long words every turn and just convert as many as possible. I'm just thinking about whether we can do something a little more spectacular. But I think otherwise we'll just take it. And we'll just go over the line with a second play. I was hoping to maybe get us over, but let's just play. And again, usually we'd just do a tiny little word here, but there is, of course, a strong incentive to hit golden. So we'll try to find at least a 7. And let's see what we can do with that. So, for example, unleash, like this will easily get us over. This is kind of Drek that we're taking with us into the next one. So I'm trying to see if we can do something a little bit better. But this will score enough, so we shouldn't be too worried about it. Just need 12 points face value. 6 there, 6 there. Yeah, that should be enough. And again, we'll just try to play 7s every single turn just to convert the bag until we just get golden tiles everywhere. And that'll be the strategy. I think there might be another golden related achievement. I should actually look at the Steam list. But the one that we're going for is the one called Midas Touch. We're going for the Marathon Clear as well, but given the tuning of the Marathon Clear and how gently it starts out, I'm actually not too worried about that at the moment. Now, yeah, I'm just looking at the Steam list. There's 10 golden tiles in one go, and there's another one that's get a diamond tile to 99, which is basically, you put the diamond effect on something, you let it sit for the whole game. But you would need to get it fairly early. Anyway, let's get back to the game and pick an upgrade. So, yeah, we can already see, well, we can do, gauze and such that turn, but its word has more vowels than consonants, multiply the final score by 2. That's also really, really good, actually. It won't trigger every turn, but the idea is that we get enough of the multipliers. Oh, okay. I guess we have to play off the eyes. I was thinking that if you just, had gauzes or something, then you would get that effect on the vowel. But if we're not getting that, then we should think about something else, like maybe the IZE ending. No L for visualize, unfortunately. No N for magazine. Magnesia, no N for magnesia. Yeah, that's too bad that you have this word shorter than 6 tiles scores 0 points condition, because otherwise we actually had lots of things that we could have done to do something in that spot. Now I'm trying to prioritize just getting something onto the 7th tile to make it a golden, so maybe something with the ISM. But Yeah, definitely the G glut is something that we walked right into when we were considering what to do. So even if we do something like gummies, for instance, and just attempt to hit this on a second play instead, then we can at least keep on feeding the pool for the achievement we were talking about. So this is going to be 15 here, 15 here. This is going to score 30, which is not great. It's also not going to hit the vowels and consonants condition, which I was hoping to do, but I'm trying to see if there's something else that we can do here that would be similarly good. Yeah, because there's so many plays that could have been possible with the Z there, like, you know, a maze and so on. I think we'll just have to take it and just try to set it up on the second play. The thing I discovered with the legendary run is that, you know, when you have the vowel and consonant condition, or when you have any kind of ×2 final score multiplier, that if you stack maybe 3 of them, then you try to hit 2 of them every turn, and then you just consistently score 100 or 200 every turn. Anyway, we do have the ing ending this time, but we will see if we can do something that would actually hit the condition that we were talking about. However, if we just do this, this will hit for 30, 36, 40 here, not quite. Yeah, I would like to hit the 62 points, but we will have to see if that's actually possible with the set. Okay, how about IZING ending? Or IZE ending. I'm trying to remember if this is good. But it might not get us over, that's the thing, because you don't have to Z on a bonus. But it does have the 4 vowels, which would get you over. Because if you have 13, 14, 17 here, and then you've got 15 here, then that gets you over. Is this in the dictionary? Yes, it is. This should hit. We need more than 62. 68, there we go, that hits. With the vowel and consonant condition, this is actually good now. Y is always considered a vowel. The limitation is that there's only one vowel in the bag. One Y in the bag, rather. But as you can see, we have a Y in the set already, so, you know, we should use it because that actually makes this hit significantly more often. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. I don't know if we'll necessarily have something that will, you know, something oxide. We might not be able to get that. Something with the IFY ending. Exotify. Unless it's... I don't think so, actually. I think it's like exoticize, but we can try it. Because this would hit the condition. No, I'm thinking of like exoticize. Okay, let's see if we have another option here. ITY ending. Avidity. And then that would still have the vowel condition, so... yeah, then we'll hit the condition there. I'm just thinking about whether we have something that can hit this spot better. You can actually have like fidgety or something, and that would also work. Fid. But then what do we like better for what we have? No, that doesn't hit the vowel condition, so let's go avidity. And again, we just want to play sevens every turn if we can, just to seed the golden tiles. I feel like there's actually potential for something like an EAUX ending, which would also be pretty good. But in terms of, you know, having some points and also hitting the vowel condition. I mean, if we don't care about hitting this spot, we can just go with this, and that would actually still hit, because, you know, you get over 50 points just from that. So this will kind of be the default play if we just want to get over the line. I'd like to hit this, though. If we have a play there, that'll get us 44, and I think that will pretty much have to. That will not get the vowel condition, or much at all, in fact. Foible, that is still not enough. Foliage. Let's try that. That has 4 vowels. Then we can hit the E with that. $13 there, 15 there, 28 there. Yeah, that'll hit once you double. We just need a minimum of 22. And yeah, it doesn't matter the order here because Y is going to be designated and Y is not here, so let's just do that, because that way we hit all the things that we want to do. Getting enough points to get over the line for the round, as well as seeding the golden tile. 2 bonus points if your word contains an O. We're not going to get an O every turn, no. Mirror tiles copy the letter and score of the tile to the left, so I guess it wouldn't copy something with the golden effect. Interestingly enough, this works well with the hoot condition that we saw earlier. Lowest scores constant scores 5 times. Usually that'll just be 5 points, but you know, you never know. That could actually be something good. I mean, no matter what. Actually, we have 3 O's right now that we're sitting on, and we can probably just do this. And if we spend O's at a gentle pace, maybe this could turn out to be alright. Particularly because we're going for a lot of high vowel plays. That might synergize. Anyway, Outfox presents itself, but we wouldn't get the vowel and consonant condition with it. Executor. That is 4 vowels for consonants. Execute just by itself is actually going to do better because of the doubling. Let's see if it actually gets anywhere close to the 120, though. I don't think it will. Although the thing about Executor is that it gives you that O bonus, but we don't necessarily care about the O bonus in a moment. 20, 22 here, and 15 here. It gets you pretty far. So the thing is, if we do this, we're sacrificing a lot of the face value to try to build up the O bonus. I think we might as well just do this instead. Yeah, and get over to 74. This is nice to have, but if it doesn't really build, then it's still alright. If we have Outlook, we spend way too many O's, but we still have an O in a bag. And again, we have 4 vowels, we have the O, we should actually be okay for this one, given that we just need minimum value 23, which is easy to hit with all these bonuses here, so we don't really even need to look at that. We probably could have done that with something like, I don't know, walkout or something that doesn't spend so many O's at once, because it's better to save the O's instead of spending 3 at a time, but we're going to go really consonant heavy if we do stuff like this. We swap a tile with a vowel from the letter bag. I like this because, again, it synergizes with the vowel effects that we have here. That could be really good. Because then, no matter what, we're always just able to get what we want. Overpower. Overpower would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vowels. And yeah, let's just swap something in. I'm just going to throw in a W, probably. And then we have, if I counted correctly, oh, no, I did not count correctly. That's 4 vowels. Okay. So that was not actually great. Well, we'll get the O bonus at least. Well, let's see if we can actually revise this a bit. Or that's okay. We just won't get a ×2 bonus this round. We can still get a bit of a boost here. Would have been nice to get it, but that's okay. We needed to get rid of some Drak anyway. We have a bunch of things that can go with boat, probably. We have the ED ending. We have Barbarian. Luca, welcome. Although, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 vowels. This is probably not going to get us over. Let's actually calculate this. I don't think it'll get us over, though. Arbitration, no. But let's think about this. You were just checking my VOD, Luca? Oh, you mean the play from yesterday? Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. We got a bit repeatedly vulgar in the hard mode section there, but also set up a couple of interesting achievements, so. Yeah, too bad we don't have an E for aberration, but you know what, we actually can. Oh, no, we do have that, in fact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, though. Vowels are only half of this, unfortunately, so we won't get the multiplier. But if we can just get over 82, we don't care. 10 here. 6 here, 16. This is going to be 30 here, 50 here, 50 and 16. Yeah, it's going to be just a little bit short. That's okay, we'll take it. Nope. Did I? Oh, actually, because it's aberration. That's even better. I totally misspelled it. Yeah, double B, double R. That's even better. That'll get it over. Wait, am I totally misspelling this? Hey, hang on. Aberration. Oh, that looks better. That looks more like... why did I think it was double B? Anyway. Either way, that makes it a... Anyway, that makes it an aberration, first of all, but it also makes it less appealing regardless. Aeration. This would give you the bonus, right? Because you've got 5 vowels. I like that. That's a lot better. Because then you get the bonus. So that way we only need a 41 value before the multiplier. And I think we can get that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. 20, 30, 35. 39 and double. Yeah. Just a little bit off. A little bit off. It's too bad. It's just ever so slightly under what we need here. Yeah, I think it's just short. But if we can do something to maybe add another vowel, if we can think of something that will get us over that, then we can do it. I'm trying to get it in this play. I'm trying to... I mean, we're on a decent bank of plays. We've got 26 plays, but I'm so close to stretching over this mark that I want to do it. Arrow... Aeronauts. Let's see if that will... also, Aerobi... someone tried Aerobian on me of Scrabble a little while ago, and I actually think it's not good. It's like Aerobial or Aerobi... I don't remember. But I don't think we have it. We don't have enough vowels to go with here. Air. Born. How many vowels do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Still not good enough. Aerobial, Aerobian, I just do not remember. One of those was not valid. I saw this very recently too. Okay, we might just have to do something that is not quite going to get over the line. It's too bad because I find that I have something that is just a slightly short. I have something that's like 78 points, if I've counted this correctly. Which is really unfortunate. Alright. But if we go aeronaut... No, that's... Oh, it's 5 vowels. Maybe it does it. Because what was the thing I was thinking about earlier? I was thinking... I don't even remember which play we were looking at. But let's say we have aeronaut. I'm just going to put this here, and we'll pretend that it's there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 35, 39. Doesn't do it. We need 41. Let's just take this and see what happens. It's not going to get over, but might as well prove that we know how to spell that word correctly. Yeah, and as you can see, it doesn't get us over. Here, again, we should just try to hit something there. It doesn't matter what we score because there are so few points to deal with here. I feel like if we had thought about a better vowel swap in that last turn, we could have gotten over, but no, well. Let's just try to get rid of some of the things that we don't want to work with so much. Like, you know, Kindars or something. Just kill the Q now while we have the chance. Normally what I'd do is just do a tiny little play here. Maybe like this. But currently we're trying to feed more golden tiles into the bag so we can eventually set up the big mega play. So, and in fact, even that play is overkill somewhat. We want to keep the ing though, if we can. So maybe we should just do something a little more limited. But that's all right. Let's just do this. It'll get us over. Because we want to feed golden tiles in the bag, so we're taking a little bit of a different strategy before. Usually what I do is I'd make a tiny play to hit the threshold and then set up a big play as the first play going into the next round. So yeah, that's what we have. We don't have the IA for our ING. If the first tile is valid, multiply its score by 5. I like that well enough. It synergizes well, again, with the vowel-heavy stuff that we're trying to go for. But we're filling up this part of the grid pretty quickly, and some of that stuff is not stacking well enough to really be worth it, I think. But let's take it and see what happens, because we're trying to do vowel-heavy where possible. Yeah, Luca, currently we have an effect where everything that lands here turns into gold. I'm trying to go for an achievement where you use 10 golden tiles at the same time, if we can set it up. We'll need some of this stuff to kind of come back from the bag before that will happen, and it might be some time before that happens. I'm also trying to get my first clear of marathon mode, but we'll see how much the point total actually escalates. So yeah, first tile 5 times if it's a vowel, but if it's not a vowel, it doesn't particularly matter. These are some of the more expendable conditions. The ×2 multiplier at the end is the one that actually matters. I'm just trying to think about whether we have something that's going to reach over here. Again, now that we actually have the possibility of swapping more vowels, we can actually do something reasonably interesting, like conjoined, just by doing 2 swaps. That still doesn't hit the vowel condition. And actually, yeah, our whole O thing became unstacked, but that's okay. Does it reset on rounds? No, we just played it badly. And, well, actually we have banjo. But that only has 2. Here we can do banjos. And that doesn't quite hit. But that's okay, let's just go with it. That really dumps all our vowels, but we'll draw more. We're a little constant heavy. I shouldn't have dumped all those G's in the bag, but yeah, we don't have enough multipliers going. We'll have to swap some of these for multipliers later on, because some of these are very situational. Anyway, we'll try not to spend the golden one yet. We want to try to stack them. But it's difficult not to spend this one with the ing ending potentially on the table. But if we can actually hit the vowel condition that we were talking about, then, I mean, we can always swap something for the I. So, for example, let's say we have updating. Yeah, we at least have the vowel bonus here, but only 3 vowels of 8. Well, it'll give you a bonus out of that. I wonder if we want to do the swap now so we can keep the golden. That's okay, as long as we keep seeding them back to the bag, then, you know, the big play is going to take a while to set up anyway, so I think maybe it's not too much of an issue to burn it now. We can probably do a lot better than that. Now, let's... do we have, like, updraft? Updrafting. I don't know if updrafting is good, but we can try it. No, probably just updraft as a noun. But if we're doing that, we might as well just do updating. Unless we want to keep that I for an additional golden tile, which there is kind of a case for that. Yeah, it's too bad. We can also try to do something by swapping it into an O to take advantage of the O condition. Out. Pudding, for instance. So, let's see what we actually want to swap into it. Oh, actually, we don't have enough T's. Okay, never mind. Let's just go updating and not stare at this too long. We are dumping all our vowels, though, because, again, when you're playing vowel heavy, we actually probably should be feeding more vowels in the bag to play this way. Yeah, it doesn't quite get us over the line, unfortunately. And yeah, this has been kind of useless as predicted, so we'll probably sell off some of this stuff. And yeah, Luca, you saw patching. I looked at that too, but I wanted to start with the vowel for this score. It doesn't make too much of a difference though, it's just there for when you're going for some of the vowel heavy combinations. Now, of course, this one, we don't need very many points. I'm just going to find anything that lands here just to feed a golden tile into the bag. So we'll kind of overkill that one as well. I was just going to go like flag. It doesn't matter that we feed this back in. We want to keep that G probably, so if we can get something... I don't want to keep all that stuff, that's the thing. It doesn't matter, like everything we score here is going to get over line, it really doesn't matter, but I'm just trying to manage what we have, and it would have been nice to get rid of one of the G's here because it is kind of in the way. Or even just brought or something. Yeah, I like that actually. That gets rid of some things that we don't want to sit on. That's a lot better. I'm just trying to manage the tiles going into the next round. Because scoring over the line isn't the issue at that point. Transform into golden, we should do that. We should keep this until we have an opportunity to go for the Midas Touch achievement. We're not going to use it yet. worst cost 2 plays. You see, this is why Marathon can get you into trouble. So we actually want to hit as many bonuses as we can this time then. Already see a couple of potential things we can do here. Also, we might even do 2 golden conversions this time and think about our pool to see what the balance of golden tiles is, so we can... You see, golden tiles right now are extremely consonant heavy with only 4 vowels here. We probably want to use more of the vowels, and particularly vowels that are not E, to balance things out. But if we can get a huge multiplier and just pass this turn in 1 round, that saves us plays. So... let's see though, because let's just think about yeah, because, you know, if we have something like clashing in here, you make this golden, make this, then this multiplies by 2, this multiplies by 2, that quadruples it. But I bet we can do a lot better than that. Because 180 points here. I bet we can do better than that, particularly if we take advantage of the vowel and consonant multiplier. But I'm thinking about how we could actually set that up. Because, you know, if you have the SHING ending, that already has a massive consonant over vowel balance. We probably can't get the multiplier. But we just turn more into golden, I think. So what we do is we're going to use the A and the I. We'll just spend it now. And then I could calculate this, but I think this will be fine because this will be multiplied by 4. This will be multiplied by 2. So you have a times 8 on the face value. Then you get a bunch of the additive bonuses. The problem is that you don't have multiplicative bonus past that point, so I don't think this gets us over the line, but we'll just do it and see what happens. I really don't want to have to mentally calculate every single thing we do here. But 185, just over the line. Great. Luca, you were asking what's the blue V... Yeah, sorry if I'm a bit late on chat while I'm solving these. The V in the corner means it counts as a vowel. It shows up if you have conditions that affect or are affected by the presence of vowels versus consonants. Swap a tile with an E from the letter bag. Yeah, we should do it because, again, we want some of the vowel heavy effects. Okay, so hopefully we can actually get something like a Genesis. Oh, no, we don't have the other S. We actually have the possibility of going for magazine, but let's see. I feel like we could definitely do something here that will get us over the line when it comes to the what is it? The condition that we were talking about. Well, you have enemies, you know, you have 4 vowels, that gives you the bonus. Maybe we can hit something better here. I feel like we can do something a lot better, though. If we have... Yeah, previously we did age and eyes, and then that actually worked out pretty well in terms of hitting all multipliers. But I think we can probably do better. So close to something like, you know, re-energize or something. I think we should actually just go for age and eyes again. Because the vowel and consonant multiplier is just going to take priority over everything. And we just try to convert more tiles once again. Converting more E's, yeah, that's fine. We just want a nice balanced tile pool that is all golden, that we slowly draw into. And... yeah, Y will count as a vowel, which is nice. Because then... if you even have something like seedily, problem is that Y is already golden, so we want to maybe do something that will not make that redundant. Hang on. I'm just trying to see if we can just do this with one I and one L, so we can do 2 shuffles and go validity or something. Eight tiles, we would need 5 vowels for it though. Yeah, we would have that actually. Let me go for a couple of swaps here then. We'll swap more things into vowels, in fact, just in general. So, 1 for an A. Actually, we just need to do the 1 swap here. 2, 3, 4. I can't count. This is only 4 vowels. I absolutely can't count. Well, we might just have to accept landing the Y redundantly onto the G here. It kind of defeats the purpose of going that long, though. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 vowel. But if you go immolation, no, that just adds 1 more vowel and 1 more consonant. No. Yeah, we just can't hit this multiplier. This is actually a lot harder to hit than it looks, this one here. It's easier to hit with small words, but because we're still going for the 7s all the time, it's actually not great. Well, I mean, we did that exchange for the A. I guess maybe we should just do validity and get it over with, but if we're not hitting the condition anyway, then let's just go long. Too bad. Okay, surely with a whole bunch of E's here, we can actually do something. Something with I. But maybe we can Yeah, because I'm trying to go long, but going long and doing the vowel consonant thing at the same time is actually a difficult balancing act. Then have something like eyeline. Once again, we can go for something like execute, and that would hit. We can actually even do it with 2 golden E's and then get a couple of extra bonuses. And 77 points left. I actually feel like this should easily hit. We should probably be a little more diligent about checking, but with the bonuses that we're getting, I think we'll be fine. Yeah, that'll hit at least. Gain 2 plays when you skip the perk screen instead of 2 refreshes. Well, for Marathon, that might end up mattering, because we don't really even do refreshes necessarily. We might sell off some of this stuff. This has been useless. If a word has at least 8 tiles, get a random common upgrade. This might be nice, because we actually score 8s reasonably often. But of course, we might just run out of upgrade slots, given that we're not using those that heavily. Increases by 2 if the word contains DE and letter pair changes if successful. We'll grab... I'm thinking we might actually grab plays, and the reason behind that is that we're trying to set up some tricky things that might require me to burn a few plays just to get all of the letters in the right place. But on the other hand, we're going long pretty often, and so more modifiers might get us more golden tiles. So, you know what, let's sell off this thing. And let's grab this one. So this might get like an ologies ending. So something ologies. Or even just ologies. Eulogies. Eulogies. But we might be able to do something even better. Let's think about this. Enologies, no, we don't have the N. What were we even doing here? Oh yeah, so we want to try to hit 8, I guess. Zoologies, oologies. Let's see, what was the one I was thinking of earlier? Eulogies. We're still over when it comes to vowels, right? Yeah, we are. It's too bad we're burning the golden. Let's swap these so we convert the other golden. That's fine. We'll just have to dump these in the bag until we get them all at once. It'll be a tight thing because, you know, you'll be getting late into the game, and that's the point at which we want to really stack these. Because we haven't really been drawing them back in yet. And let's see what we get when it comes to random upgrades. Because we get things like, you know, convert to golden, that would be great. Professional, except that seems a little useless. The thing is, if I'm no longer able to use this, probably can't replace one of these, right? Unfortunately, we don't have a good way of doing this. However, first of all, this is going to be something like Overlook. But 4 vowels? No. Over... if we can do something that actually gives me... another vowel. Otherwise, we'll just take overlook. But the thing is, it's not going to hit the bonus here, so it's not actually very good. But however, if you do overly, then you get the bonus, and that'll be better. It's just that you won't convert anything to gold in this turn. But you get flowery. This 3 vowels. No, it doesn't do it. Yeah, we spent way too much time just trying to set up some of the bonuses. I feel like we need to burn this thing because hold one tile and refresh all of the others. Because this is just taking up space right now. But the thing is, we have to completely rethink what we're doing if we're just doing a refresh. So I feel like this actually was a bit of a liability. It's just sitting there and not doing much. Okay. What we can do is we can do something like overpay, and the Y counts as a vowel even though it's not functioning as one. Or even like, I don't know if over easy is a single word. Let's just go overly. I would really like to put some more stuff in here though. That's okay. We're not going to hit the 135 here anyway, I think. So let's just go overlook. Kind of a shame, but oh well. Oh, we should have used... Oh yeah, we actually had 2 golden tiles. I didn't even think about that. Oh well. Let's see what we can do. Because, again, yeah, it's actually very difficult to hit this thing. It's just taking a space. We haven't made good use of it at all. We do have another over in this one. This time we can do something like overpay, overweary. I'm gonna try this. I don't know if it's actually good. I wouldn't expect it to be. Oh, it is. Okay, overweary. That actually works out pretty well. Your word has at least 9 tiles. Get a random common or uncommon modifier. Except we're stuffed with modifiers, so, you know, this doesn't help at all. We need to ditch this thing. This turned out to be actually kind of terrible because now we have upgrades that we're not using. If we take this one, then before we play a 9er, we would want to sell something off that we're not really using. Like this first tile 5 times one actually isn't that helpful. Special tiles go back into the letter bag when submitted. Don't they usually? Oh, yeah, no, I see. Because instead of being killed for the round, they go... Yeah, actually, we definitely want to take this if we want to set up the golden condition. Because then the golden ones get cycled back in the same round, and they should accumulate. If I understand that correctly. So, yeah, Luca, satisfying game, and you're off to bed. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, if you're following on the VODs on YouTube as well, then you'll be able to see how we manage over there. So. Alright, let's think about what we're going to do here. We might want to just get rid of the Q right away with another Kintar. But we might actually exchange for a U because that would get... No, that actually wouldn't do it. But actually, using the Q in conjunction with the vowel condition, if we exchange into a U, might actually be quite helpful. And yeah, Luca, I know you're aware of the channel. I'm just linking it. You said at the very beginning that you were catching up in the VOD. I'm just linking it just for the purposes of anybody lurking or catching up later on. Okay, we can probably do something with exchanging into a queue and doing like quinone or something, because then you could actually hit the condition here. Now it would be even better if we can put the queue in this position, but I don't necessarily think we will. I'm going to think about whether we have like a big play that we can make by exchanging a U. Like quantities or something. Quantities, and then we need to actually quantified. No, we don't actually have to write letters for that, and I don't think it quite gets us over quotidian though. Maybe. Let me actually count. We'll replace with a U, obviously, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vowels on a 9-letter word. We should actually do it. Let's change something into the U. Probably, I'm thinking in terms of synergy and points and so on next turn. We'll just dump the W, actually, because then we can save it for when we need a golden plate. No, whoops. Hang on. Let's... Or do we want to do that? Yeah, we want to do that. Although it's not keeping the second thing for the multiplier. TW actually goes together right well. Maybe we shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. We'll do this. And this should hit the condition here. Only 112, that's not too good, but that's alright. I'm thinking about how we can actually do like banjo or banjoist. I'm not going to hit the vowel consonant thing, but we will get the golden tiles in, and the golden tiles will be returned to the bag, so it's okay to spend them. If we can do something better than that, though, I would like to. But I feel like we spend way too much time on things like that. Feijoas, that would actually hit the J here and hit the vowel condition. It burns the golden in a position that isn't great, but I actually think this might be good as a candidate play. 96, okay, yeah, alright. Could be better. And yeah, as we can see, the golden tiles get returned immediately rather than sitting around down here as having been used. So we're more likely to draw them together in the pool. If we're going over the lens, then we should actually maybe burn a card so we can do something decent with that. But we might have to double up on the T and the Y for this next turn anyway. Yeah, because barbarity. Then we put an I over here. We'll dump the V for it. Then that way, Whoops. We get a card open for other bonuses that we can pick up. Okay, so a couple of modifiers here that we... And I have returned the last tile to the grid instead of sending it to the letter bag. That might be quite good in terms of stacking the golden tiles. They were going for that achievement. When a modifier is sold or destroyed, multiply the final score by its sell value for the rest of its round. I like that a lot. But we need to sell off first in order to pick it up. That's the thing. So this will get us well over the line for multipliers and like... Because in everything it's just going to multiply by that and that'll be nice. But this is going to be better for trying to set up the golden play. So I think we should do that. We'll get rid of the first tile 5 times thing here. Yeah, this is better for the golden achievement. This is better for actually clearing. But we're sitting on a decent number of plays, so maybe this is fine. Because we'll get a decent number of bonuses from golden tiles anyway if we're playing this correctly. Also, you know, currently if we do shuffle for E, we actually kind of have a 1 in 2 chance of drawing into golden anyway. Alright, let's see what we can do. We can do like explained. And we might be able to do something better than that. Particularly with like an IG ending. So that's the kind of play that doesn't really get you much in terms of well, anything that we're doing here. That's okay, it just returns a D to the pool. We're okay with that. Now the nice thing though is that if you play just 7 letters, then whatever is golden comes back into the pool. So we might just do that instead. But that's a pretty big point sacrifice. Let's just go with this for now and until we're kind of closer, and then we'll think about that. Because that's actually a synergy that I hadn't considered, that you can actually just turn the tile into golden and return it immediately. And yeah, because you can actually just get all kinds of multipliers. Of course, this would be redundant with the I over here. Nope. What did we say earlier? Cratering? We can probably do something a lot better than there. Scartering. I think scartering must be good. And then let's triple that. No, actually that's not. No, I know that's not right because scarter isn't a word. I know that. Oh. Detaching. Again, it lands the I here, which I'm not fond of. Reattaching, but no, we don't have the T's for it anyway. Rematching. That's not bad. We've largely given up on this vowels and consonants multiplier. It's nice to have, but... let's just try to run up the score a little bit and farm more golden tiles that get returned to the bag until we've converted most of the bag into it. Yeah, again, you know, it's a decent proportion at this point, but we want to get to the point where we can do the 10 tile play. And we have to do it before we actually, you know, finish the marathon mode, because we might not be able to do that. We could do the endless continuation, I suppose. But now, the other thing, though, is that, again, if we end with one of the golden tiles, then it gets returned immediately. So we might even start doing some of the refresh on this just to burn it, and then it would have been better to synergize this with one of the conditions that allow you to hold certain tiles away from the refresh, but it's alright. Also, we can eventually get to the point where we just convert so many E's that the shuffle for E feeds us the tiles that we need. Calzone. That's already golden, unfortunately, but it will return to the pool. I feel like we can probably do something better than that, though, just to avoid that issue. I'm thinking of something that would maybe end with the Y instead. Or even LY. But the issue again is that the golden isn't feeding more golden tiles into the pool as we would like. Maybe we should just take the points here. Return to E. We're not making additional E, but at least we're returning it. Yeah, it doesn't score very much, but at least we're starting to build up, you see, so. And then if we start playing off some of this other stuff instead, then we might actually get into something useful here. Let's see. Smugger. Then, yeah, return this golden one to the pool here, like that. We have to keep an eye on the plays here, but I'm going to really kind of make a serious run towards building up the pool now, so we can get the Midas touch. Won't always be able to do it, but the fact that we have, you know, EIN RST, that's a big plus already too. Trying to get to what we want to get. And if we want to do something like that, that's fine that we're burning some of that. We're going to feed some of these back into the pool anyway. Yeah, I don't know if there's a better way to do that one. Rewound so we can keep a D, or no, we want to have a bit more tile diversity here as we feed things back in. Oh, too bad. That just keeps us underlined. That's okay. See, now we're getting into something a little more interesting, except we have so many T's. But we're getting closer. We've got 9 tiles already, so... In fact, if we think about a specific word that we're going for, like maybe distortion or something. We have distortion this turn, incidentally, but we want to basically keep the right kinds of tiles to make it happen in a few turns. So we'll have to burn a few plays to do that, but unless, of course, we have something where shuffle for E can get us over the line. Because shuffle for E at this point is pretty high probability in terms of getting us what we want. But we know distortion is a 10 that like we can build towards right now. And so... But in order to do that, we would need to land something here to turn it into golden. So we might not be able to do that in exactly the way that we want. Yeah. Unless we think of replacing some things with E's right now, that will actually get us over the line. Let's think about this. We might even be able to do it this turn. Like auditory. It's yeah, it's too bad because I totally see this as something available now, and I think we just need to keep as much of the stem for it as we can, like, and then we can dump the Y because we won't necessarily need it, but we still need something that is 7 letters with what remains. Let's think about how we can do it. Yeah, because what I'm going for is I'm trying to go for a 7 that's going to convert one of the remaining tiles that we need, and we want to keep as much of distort as we can. We actually don't need all of those. But I don't know if we can actually get over the line for that. So essentially we need something here. Maybe we just go... Actually, we might just have to spend some of this stuff. But... yeah, we'll just spend 3 of those. I don't like that because we've got so many of the T's still here. And we don't want to convert more T's necessarily. We need something that will land a tile we want in this location. Let's see. Either that, or we just make a small play this turn, forget about it, and just try to draw into more golden tiles with the random draw. I think that's actually a better idea. Instead of trying to convert this turn, we'll just try to draw more golden into the next move. And then we can do a shuffle for E for the rest of it. In which case, we'll just go, like, irony. This, we don't need to score very many points, you see, so 9 points left. This will just do it by face value, so... I mean, we only need 2 more tiles to work this out. The triple T actually is not great. We should do something. Swap a tile with a vowel from the letter back. We want this back. Yeah. Vowel tile scores 0 points. We don't care. What we do want is just to find some way to Yeah, let's keep the IORST at the end. And even if we do something like warpy, that'll score points, so we keep way too many T's. That's the problem with that. But we can exchange some of those for vowels as we go. Now, in terms of the vowel pool, let's think about what... So E's are pretty likely, I's are pretty likely. They kind of have a half and half chance. So if we can actually get a 10-letter word that will consist pretty much entirely of golden tiles, then we should take it. But if we can't, then we should actually just, you know, do something like warty, warpy. Warpy is good, probably. Warty would be better for dumping some of the T's, but let's just... Oh, wart. Okay, I guess not. That's okay. Then we can get rid of the low value T here. Yeah, we don't want to burn too many plays, but we're taking advantage of the fact that we have such a bank to try to set it up. Yikes. Only that many points. Okay, clearly, okay, we should be able to get something here. We've got 10 tiles. We can exchange into... So, for example, destroyed... If we can actually... replace the D. The problem is that there's no vowel exchange that is going to give me that. But, oh, we don't have the N for the distortion idea either. So I'm thinking that if we do a vowel exchange, then we can find something that will give us what we need. It's too bad because it's so close. If we can land the D and turn it into golden or something, then yeah, we have all these shuffles that we can't really use. Let's see, because yeah, we are so close to this. And that actually isn't enough tiles anyway. Destroyed. Because if we had destroyers with like an additional S, it's okay, because what we can do is it's okay to play out some of the E's because we know we can exchange them for more. But we should think about what we should be going for, because if we go for destroyers or something, then we would need an additional R. I feel like we can probably hit with something else. Potteries is not quite enough. Like... Reporters, destroyers, etc. Yeah, I'm just thinking about how we're going to change into that. I think we just need to place roofs and draw more of the tiles we need. I don't see a good setup for it. The problem is that the queue is an issue, but we can exchange the queue into a vowel if we need it. We probably will, in fact, dump the queue for a vowel of our choice, unless we have a queue exchange into a U that might work. So, for example, if you have... We really don't want to... I was just thinking like parquet or something, but... If we can do something like E here, can chat suggest... well, dodge a cliche, as long as you're aware that the thing I'm going for right now, I'm not just trying to solve the words and pass it around. I'm trying to go for an achievement that is the Midas Touch achievement. We're trying to set up a play that will allow me to play 10 tiles that are all golden. So that's the objective right now. The objective is not to find a good word and a good play. The objective is to find something that survives and sets up the board for a 10 tile play. Keeping in mind that I have a whole bunch of vowel exchanges available. So what makes things gold? Well, right now what makes things gold on my board is I have an effect that makes the 7th tile gold. And then it feeds it back into the bag. But because I have these two conditions here, if it ends on this tile, it's going to go back to my grid. And if it doesn't end on that tile, it actually goes back into the playable section of the bag rather than the expended section of the bag. And so I'm trying to find a way that will set me up for a grid that is almost entirely golden. And right now I don't see a very good way to do that, but I think if we actually just do something like this, we want to keep as many golden tiles as possible. We'll just need to redraw into some of that stuff. But what we can do is, instead of burning something like this E, we can exchange the Q for an E. And then we feed the D back here into the grid. Or even if we have something like... Yeah, so I'm going to do that. We're going to shuffle for the E. And you've got a higher point E as well. And so the idea here is that the D gets fed back here, and then we try to rebalance things a little bit. Oh, you were saying respotted triples to P and you can put a white T on the gold square, yeah. The reason I'm trying to go for 7-letter words is because I'm trying to immediately return the golden tile back into my pool, though, so that's why I'm doing it that way. I know I can go longer and I can score better, but right now I'm close enough to the setup that I want that I really want to try to go for that as well. Like, we're so close. We can have like an ing ending here. We can also have like dignify. No, we don't. Dignity. But then Y ends in here. I'm thinking that I want to try to return one of these tiles. We're a little heavy on G's right now, but it doesn't create a G. It just makes it golden, so that might even not be that bad. So if we have something even like driving, that we minimize what we're spending here, and then we try to return to G here. Yeah, so I'm scoring poorly this round, but it's deliberate. I am confident that I can get through the later rounds to finish Marathon. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You see, we're getting closer and closer, where we now have 11 tiles to choose from. And we find a 10 in here, then we're actually, you know, in good shape anyway. And it's okay if we get an 11, it's just that we need 10 tiles to be golden. So even if we have something like this, I actually feel like we can probably get it. It's funny because the V that we had last turn for variegator or something would have been great. Migrated, remigrated. Migratory, no we don't. Emigratory, I don't know if that's actually, yeah. But we're clearly close to something here, and we might just have to keep playing and rebalance the tiles a little bit. I would like to land the S here, actually, do a 7, land the S here. Yeah, germinations or something, I don't know. Or I missed something. But yeah, you're thinking of Myers and S ending in S. 7 ending in S. Yeah, I'm trying to spend as few of the golden tiles as I can so I can keep them on the board, but that is a good candidate. Maybe I can't quite get it this turn. If I draw one of my ends that is golden, then we're in good shape. So I'm trying to create a balanced leave with golden tiles that I can keep, and then I feed one back to myself. But obviously, we can't be too picky about it. Diatoms or something. Yeah, I don't like spending that much stuff, but it would be nice too. We're being, of course, you know, like way too picky about this, but yeah, I like the idea to go midgets, in fact. Because that actually leaves you in pretty good shape. Because you get actually a really quite nice set coming out of that. Yeah, we get so many multipliers off golden at this point. We're not too worried about points, even though it's just a face value. It's a bit of a weak set of scores right now, but we've got 28 plays, so we're not too stressed about it. Yeah, so the G here with the red, it means that if it ends on that tile, then it doubles the score. We're not fussing too much with the score right now, but if we could, like, quivery, a quiver, etc. Oh, no wonder we're scoring so few, because we've got the volatile score 0 effect. I have not even been looking at that, to be honest. Now, however, if we do something like over qualify, I want to see, but we don't have the F for it. We're actually so close to something like over qualify. Inequality. Even if we have something, I wanted to say Vaquero. I like that, actually. A little bit ugly what we're leaving behind, but it burns the Q and the V, it gets them out of our way, and it returns the O. And we actually are pretty short on golden O's. Let's go that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we're starting to fill the board a little bit, which is nice. Because once we kind of fill the board almost full golden, then we can go for the achievement. It's one of the least achieved achievements in the game right now, and so I saw a literally golden opportunity to go for it, and I thought we should. We also still have the Shuffle for Each that's available. Notice that we have, you know, potential endings. We get like astrobiologies or something. But yeah, having the S's here is not too bad. We'll just have to spend some of this stuff, obviously. Do I even have any golden ends? We have some. And we have the E exchange, obviously. So if we see an opportunity to do an E exchange and try to fish for a golden E and get something down now, we will do it. We were so close earlier, we had one tile off from destroyers or something. But I feel like the Ologies ending has some potential here. It's just that we don't have the golden L, but also the side ending might have some potential. Yeah, we need to play off some of this stuff. Even if it's... And a double I here is kind of a bit of an issue here right now. We might even just do something cheap, like Biggie or something, just to clean out some of this stuff and get to something closer. Yeah, Blights isn't a bad idea in terms of just playing off all of the non-golden tiles. The thing I'm worried about is that the leap we have afterwards isn't really that good, but maybe we can't afford to be too picky about that. I was thinking just... Oh, we don't have the L for glibly. We have... Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. Blights. We might not be able to be very picky about this, though. I think we should... Well, we would at least get out of the volatile thing, and then we would have a chance to pick up a perk, potentially. It's just that, yeah, this remaining pool here isn't really the best. What we can also do is we can just do a refresh. But at this point, we've been building up so nicely, I don't want to necessarily do that. I actually wonder if Bigly is good in this dictionary. It's probably too recent. I don't even know it's good in Scrabble. It might not be. It is. Okay, Bigly. The goal is to play 10 letters that are gold. You can have a word that is longer than that, but the specific wording of the achievement is Midas Touch, submit 10 golden tiles in one go. Yeah, it's one of the least achieved achievements, I was saying. There's one that's like play a word with all wildcards. We already have that one. We got it yesterday. And there were some other ones that are way down that we got. We also still have to get the achievement to actually clear marathon mode, but, you know, we have tons of scoring potential once I actually get out of this thing that we're trying to set up here, so... Okay, we're getting very close to doing it. We almost have something like eye shots, eyelashes. Again, we should think about LITY endings. Let's think about this. I'm thinking about like things with shoe or things with... Yeah, we got a decent grid at this point with 12 golden. I'm definitely looking at a lot of the IEST possibilities. Yeah, you were suggesting foliage plays all the whites and then doubles the I and the O. It does. I'm also thinking about whether we can do an exchange at this point, because we have vowel exchanges quite freely. So, you know, when we're close enough and we just need to fill in some blanks, we can do it. I think probably... or even this IFIEI as ending... or even something like the... let me think about this. I'm thinking about stuff like a hoteliers. No, that's still only a 9. We don't have that anyway. Yeah, we might actually want to play off some vowels because we can exchange back into vowels. That's the thing. So it's not too bad an idea. Anyway, we should actually just try to get the score, because if we get out of this round, we might pick up a perk that helps do that. I'm trying too hard to set this thing up right now because we're so close. Like, I want to get it done before we hit round 20. That's the thing. We've been burning through plays just to try to do this with very few points scored. But once we have so many golden tiles, like, the score is going to come very easily, so I'm not too concerned. But it makes sense to do the big play when we're at the beginning of a round and when we want to clear a really big score all at once. So this will still be a bit of a setup move. And I'm trying to see if I can convert another golden. That's one of the things I'm trying to do here. So and even if it doesn't return immediately to the pool, as long as we have something here, you know, like a... well, we don't quite have a horsefly or even a housefly. Fly pass, no fly, gadfly. I might just go gadfly. It doesn't hit the 7. Or even just gadflies. Because then we get a huge multiplier off of it. I just want to get rid of some of this stuff. And at least it plays off all the whites, right? I kind of like that. Yeah, it's not great in terms of score, but with the multiplier, it should get us over the line. And so the idea here is that we want to draw into the next perk and see if it gets me something that will be better for this. We obviously would need to sell something off in order to do this. We don't want to sell off this stuff right now, though. So apart from maybe wise vowels, since we no longer have much of a synergy here, like, this thing has not really paid off for us at all. Add 10 bonus points. If you submit 2 or more different special tiles, we're not doing that because we only have golden and maybe 1 or 2 reds. But this might be way better than this vowels and consonants thing right now. We might even just shed this in case we ever use this, because this is too situational. So grab this thing. Yeah, you were thinking play flag and pick up gold, so that wouldn't have scored enough to get me over the line, though. I wanted to clear out to this round over here. Also, now we have an ing ending, even if the G is not a golden. That could significantly extend our possibilities. If we kind of keep something into that. Exhorting doesn't go quite enough. However, we have TION as well, which might be better for this. Ignitions isn't quite there. ignitions is not long enough, and we don't have the G for it anyway, and we don't have the N's for it anyway. If we can actually land the X, well, no, I think we should just play off the X. And just play off like existing or something. Just to get a bunch of these bonuses. And then try to draw into this as well. Problem is, yeah, at this point we're not going to hit this very often. We should have just done exiting. What am I doing? We should have done exiting. That would have been way smarter. Oh well, that's okay. Yeah, because now we have all this. That's okay. Well, let's just... Yeah, we played off way too much of that. But... that's okay. We'll try to set that up again. Sometimes there's a good jet prefix. Jet foil. No, we don't have that. Reso jet. We don't have that. But we can just do a bit of an adjustment play here, or we can just do a redraw. Like refresh all except. But let's take a look at our pool at this point. No, it's kind of too low probability to do that. We just need to play off tiles. Yeah, the thing is, you're closer to the setup the later you go in the round, and so we might have burned a good opportunity to really build up properly in the last round, because I was thinking, well, let's just cross the boundary to the round. The problem with doing that is that a lot of the white tiles get fed back into the pool now, so. You like B-Fog? It doesn't play the J, but that's okay. Not too picky about that. Or something like objet. If it's good in this dictionary, it might not be. Okay, we're getting close. We have 10. Syntheses, almost. Almost. Antitheses. We don't have the second T for that. Hang on. But we do have potentially ing ending. We will, of course, have to change some of these out, but I'm still thinking about... You see, with the shuffling that we have now, again, it's about 50% chance for some of the vowels, much lower than that for some other ones. We might just have to go like something like this just to play them off. Yeah, we should prioritize just playing off at this point. Small plays are okay because I'm realizing now we actually don't want to cross the boundary too soon. Surely we have something now. We've got 12 tiles to choose from. We can... Yeah. We can even... we have the NESS, like NESSES ending. Yeah, you're thinking Naga plays off all that stuff. It does. I'm thinking about whether we can do it this turn, though. Because the NESSES ending is very promising. We would need it. To see... if we can do something about that. We... might have it. Let me think about it. But we definitely want to be keeping stuff like that, essentially. If we just go for an ing ending here, well, no, we don't want to run up the score too quickly. As I was saying, we don't want to refresh the round too quickly. So maybe Naga is the right idea. Or even... yeah, it would have been nice to actually return an A, though. And I'm thinking about whether we can do that. Because again, like the played golden tiles do return to the pool, they just don't necessarily return to the square. We're so close. I feel like we could have done like, I don't know, even daintinesses or something. Had we an additional N. Daintinesses. Yeah, the thing is, like, that would get us over the line by quite a bit. I'm also thinking if we can find something like that. Yeah, you're thinking convert a letter, the Stygian would end there. Maybe. I actually think... yeah. In terms of actual play finding, I really think the ESSES idea, at least, you know, doesn't need to be an N, could be something else, is probably the most promising way to go at this point with what we have. Let's see. Convert the N. It doesn't return right away. But then we increase our chance of drawing back into it. And then we get some score off it. That might be actually too much score. It puts us over. Well, maybe the perk will be good. Well, let's take a look at what we have before we do anything here. Multiply the final score by the number of E's in a word. That's actually not bad. At this point, it's going to matter more than the fourth tile thing. We might sell off this one because we haven't really been going for it anyway. I see like chanceries. No, not really. It's okay. We can probably go for it. Multiply the final score by the number of E's in a word. Probably. I feel like we want more multipliers. The letter multiplier is good, but we haven't really been setting up for it, so we'll just ditch this. Oops. Can I? There we go. Upgrades can be used one more time than usual, so we can also use it as a mulligan for trying to redraw into the golden tiles if we want. And that might be promising. Now let's go for score, just in case we need to catch up at the end, because, you know, we still do want to beat Marathon after we've finished messing up all this stuff. Okay, so we have the Nessus ending. Yeah, you were asking if I had shynesses. That's a little bit short, but we're close to something very similar, I think. But if we can do a vowel exchange to fill in the gap. And again, we don't want to be, you know, too locked in a tunnel vision with this kind of setup. Because we might have something else that is possible that we might be missing. Yeah, you like Grana to play of this stuff. I feel like we can do better than that. You know, let's do this to change the R back in here. Then we shed the double N. We shed the double E. The E would have been nice, but I kind of like that idea because that way you return the R. It's a doubled R, but you get so many points off of this with golden tile stuff. We might be fine. We actually are sitting on too many S's at this point. We have a bit of a glut that might be a bit of a problem. Again, we're still drawing into, 10. We've been dragged down by this thing too. Like the Y here isn't doing much for us. Let me think about this. We have things like rotary. We actually might want to shed a few things here. We can always exchange into E, of course. In terms of the E's in the bag, yeah, it's mild probability, but we've got lots of chances to go for it. Again, if we can actually see a way to exchange into an E that will make this work, we should go for it. But I also have been underrating, I think, the possibility of still doing a TION rather than... The problem with keeping the Nesses ending is that you just keep too many S's and it's reducing my flexibility by quite a bit. Because I feel like we actually have a potentially good setup here now for if we get one of the I's, which is a little less than 50%. Can I guarantee a gold E? No. That's why it's going to be by probability. E is kind of 3 out of 11 right now. Not that great. I has about a half chance if we go for TION. But I think we need to just get rid of some of this stuff anyway, so let me think about this. Yeah, well, we've been... close for so long, and then we've fallen off a bit because it's hard to kind of play into what we need. Maybe the small fish is the way to go, but we actually want to shed some S's. This is too many, I think. Like, that doesn't return to golden, though. We want to return more golden if we can. But maybe that's not too bad. I actually really think we should shed the Y to score with it and get it out of here. You know. Because, yeah, but that maybe dumps a few too many S's. I don't want to dump the E. Stray. Too bad we don't have like ashtray. Doesn't convert anything. I'll just go with Tony. A cheap little play here. But again, we have all this stuff. I don't want to dump some of it. I actually think we want to keep the E, that's the thing. So I'm very reluctant to play off the E with something like Annoyer. But if we have something like, I actually am beginning to seriously consider a stray, because we actually want to dump these golden ones just to open up a bit more space for myself. I don't want to just totally sabotage the marathon run, that's the thing. We need to not be way too complacent with it. Okay, we absolutely need to get rid of some of this stuff. But we can shuffle out of it. We can just dump this for ease. Because if we have like reinforces or something, eventually, right now we're not even close to anything like that. In fact, if we can... think about something like an over... Yeah. I like the idea of conservers, actually. Oops. It makes the V gold, but in a sense it's a bag, which is okay because we can do that. But if we're going to do that, I wonder if we can actually... Yeah, we don't have enough to really play out of it. I'm thinking about exchanges that we can do to kind of get us over the line. Let's see. We might even just exchange the V blindly anyway. Just shuffle it now. And if we get the golden E, great, you know? There you go. High probability, like I said. Now, we're a little heavy on E's, but then we can use it to... just get some of this stuff. Do we have some conference? We don't have that. We have almost inferences. So, for example, let's pretend that's O. Pretend it's an I for a moment. But then we have a bunch of drag coming out of that. But you see, that's why we're trying to get some of this stuff to convert to golden if we can. And we'll just probably just go confers and just try to draw into something here. Yeah, because again, we kind of found the peril in scoring too much too soon because you restored too much of the bag. Reassurances eventually reassures. Yeah, you liked fervency in the last turn? Yeah, I didn't think about that. Fervency. That was a good one, actually. I didn't see your suggestion there until we committed, but that actually would have been a great idea. We're a bit loaded with the S's right now. That's actually a bit of a problem. We have all 4 of the S's. But let's go back to the SSES ending. We almost have like hoarinesses. You know what? Hoarinesses. I think we actually can do it. Hang on. So, if we replace this with an I, and if hoariness actually pluralizes, then we've got it. Let's just dump the U anyway. And it doesn't even need to be golden, but if this accepts, then we've got it. Then we've got it. And Derbyshire Visitor, you're saying change one S to a C when I can. If we want to redeem the change character. Are you sure you don't want to change it to Toadette or something? So I like hoarinesses. Oh, actually, yeah, Dr. Cliché saw hoarseness. That would have been fine too. That would have been perfectly fine too, actually. I didn't even think about that. But if this accepts, then we should have an achievement come up in the corner. once this calculates. It should be a pretty big pile of points. It's like a, yeah, submit 10 golden tiles in one go. There we go, finally. Okay, now let's actually go back to playing the game. We have 3 rounds remaining. We've got lots of plays. Let's actually play this properly. Yeah. Yeah, permanently add this stuff. Our multipliers have not been good. But this is not bad. Except we have no space for upgrades, and we don't have a way to sell off upgrades as a thing other than just using them. So we might just skip this and go for plays. Let's just skip this. Okay, now this letter must be available or will be destroyed. We don't really care, but let's actually finally get back to playing the game. And we'll just, you know, put in golden tiles too. This letter must be available or be destroyed. We don't care. We'll just get through the round. We have 3 rounds remaining, and that's a golden tile. Maybe we do care. But then we'll just go edgiest. Whatever. And then we have first letter as a vowel here as the bonus anyway, so. And when we return to T. So let's just go with that. Advisor, you're finishing your degree in 3 hours. Congratulations. What stage of the process is it? It's just submission, or is it the actual awarding of the degree ceremony, congregation, or whatever it's called in your jurisdiction? We have... Oh, we don't have attorney. We're close to it. Defense of your thesis. Congratulations in advance. I'm sure you'll do wonderfully. Especially you're doing the best thing for your sanity prior to the thesis defense, which is hanging out on Twitch. I say that quite seriously. Back in undergrad, I was maybe brashly and unwisely posting something on, you know, the sort of private board for a particular class at the time, and telling people who were overly stressed about examinations that they should just binge video games the night before, and that's really the best thing they can do rather than cramming at the last minute. People got so angry. I basically set that entire discussion board aflame by suggesting that, because, you know, they were so upset when I suggested that. You wouldn't believe it. Okay, so anyway, I'm not even looking at this. I'm too busy reminiscing. We're so close to something like attorney. We don't particularly care. We probably have it like a TARY or TORY ending. Demagogy. Let's go with that. We actually had more multipliers we could have stacked there, like an additional E. We destroyed a D, I don't care. It's not even a golden tile. If we destroy non-golden tiles here, I honestly don't even think that's a problem. Oh yeah, you saw Amaretto's and orgasmed for the conversion. Yeah, we don't care about the golden conversion too much at this point. We just want enough multipliers to get through Marathon in the remaining rounds, because I played the last several rounds, like ever since around 14 or 15 or so, extremely suboptimally, because that's when we saw that Midas Touch as the achievement was within reach. We have like dilatory. Idolatry, and that way we don't burn the tile and we convert the R. I like that. And then do we have more that we can convert in there? Not really. I'm not even looking at my bonuses at this point. I just want to get through it. When we cleared Legendary yesterday, we heavily optimized, but I burnt so much time on this round. I just wanted to get out of that X Well, I mean, existed. There is probably something a lot better here. And that's if we care about the destroying tiles thing. We don't necessarily care. Oh, no. Extrudes. Converts to E. I like that. And then we can put this one in front for the multipliers. You can actually hold shift to type in a special tile. I had some bugginess with that yesterday, which is why I keep forgetting to do it. You saw outsteered in that one? Yeah. That would have been interesting. 400 points off of that one, though. We'll just take it. And yeah, we got so many golden tiles at this point that the multipliers will just kind of write themselves, which is nice. And so, yeah, second tile with 3 points. That one's always kind of nice. The vowels and constants multiplier has been kind of useless for us lately. We might ditch this just to put some heavy consonants in position 2. Especially because, you know, if you have first letter as a vowel, that synergizes really well with this one. We probably still want this stuff. The golden conversion doesn't matter too much at this point. So maybe we want to keep this in the back pocket just in case, but nah, whatever. Have 20 refreshes. I didn't even realize we weren't even going for this. But I guess in Marathon, it just naturally stacks up. Yeah, we have 21 refreshes because I just never used a refresh button. Okay, so let's see about this. I was already thinking about things like outskier maybe. We might have something better. Puberty. And maybe we have something that does even better. This returns the Y, but then if we return a tile that's golden, you know, with any kind of 7-letter play, that it's probably fine. High rights. Deeper rights. There we go. There we go. This is one of my favorites because I will never forget this because many years ago I had a Scrabble game where I was holding the word pyrite and I had an extra E and I just played pyrite. And I will never forget that this is actually the solution. Pirouettes, that's a nice long one, yeah. Good suggestion. I'm often just kind of playing and then I'm looking over, but I don't mind you sort of calling plays anyway, and I can see what I missed. We still have all this vowel stuff here for, you know, equalities. If we want to do it, we actually can, because we can do an E exchange and a vowel exchange. And then we get the Q over here for whatever that's worth. So we can even just, let's take a look at what we have here. Just to keep some balance, we can change O for an E. Not golden, that's fine, I don't care. And then we can change like a B for an I. And if we get a golden one, even better. And then we'll just go something like that. Didn't have a B for like liquidities or something, but we wanted the Q in the second spot. We wanted all these bonuses here. And that will get us pretty far, I think. 642 points, there you go. Blast right through. Blast right through. Yeah, because the golden tiles write themselves at this point. You know, we can even transform more golden if we really want, but... The reason to do the class duplicate thing is... So there is an achievement for playing 20 tiles at the same time. You would need some combination of additional slots and some upgrade slots that kind of hold duplicate tiles for you in order to get that. Otherwise, it's not actually that possible. Now, the problem is that when we don't use the upgrades, we can't actually grab more upgrades because it doesn't give you the option to sell off the unused ones, which I think might be a little exploitable anyway, but we will just skip it, I think, unless we want the 4th tile one. At this point, we don't care too much about 7th tile becomes golden, I think, because, I mean, it returns any kind of ending letters on the 7th slot. But, which is why we had so many S's and E's and such come back. So at this point, we might just go for this score here instead. Just ditch this thing that served us so well. Yeah. First tile is locked. Yeah, that's fine. In fact, having S in the front here works pretty well for our purposes, I think. Because we can just do skives or something, and that'll get massive multipliers across the board. Yeah, so you can play a 20-letter word, but there are also a couple of special tiles that can make them more achievable. There is, for instance, a plus tile that lets you concatenate multiple words. So, for example, I have had plays yesterday where I played off all 16 tiles in the grid because they were actually one word and then the plus tile and another word. Like, you know, beeswax plus governed, I think was one we got yesterday that played off 16. Just so you know, if you haven't seen this interface, you saw this earlier with, what is it, hoarinesses or whatever, but if you enter enough tiles to push into the second line, it does show you a second line up to 20. According to the Steam achievement list, I think nobody has to date actually hit the 20 tile achievement yet. It's one of the ones that has not been done. I've already done, I think, all of the other rarest ones that aren't a grind, except for one that's a secret achievement that doesn't list as requirement. There's one called Word Perfect. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's, you know, playing for a win with no upgrades or something. But I actually have no idea. Anyway, T in this position, not that great since we don't have something like an H, but we will do something with it. I'm not concerned about passing this round. We've got 30 moves. So we don't quite have something like teleport. We have... we can do something like tactile if we... Or even tactical... No, not tactical. We don't have a second C. If we do some kind of exchanging. It's so odd to not have that golden conversion on that 7th spot anymore, actually, since we picked that up right at the beginning. Totalize, if we exchange into an I. We also have the A-B-L-E ending. Let's do that because we can have, like, tasteable. I actually kind of like that idea. Tasteable. Teasable is also plausible, that's right. Also, you know, it doesn't show you the effect for special round until you've managed your round transition with whatever you're picking up. But this specific special round does make a lot of my multipliers a little bit useless because I can't control them. But every now and then, though, if you just have it give me a vowel in front, then that automatically gives me a 1.5 bonus. Projectile. Do we have anything else to fit in here? No, we'll just do that. Do you see pettifoggers, really? Is that even good? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know what that is. Pettifogger. A petty, quibbling, unscrupulous lawyer. Yeah, I've read that before. Took me a moment to think back to it. Anyway, what were we doing here? We are a little stuffed on E's. That's fine. We're most of the way in anyway. And we can always exchange vowels to get ing if we really want to do something like that. Even exchange something else into, I don't know, repeating. I'm just thinking about what we can do here. Even if we just exchange something into an I for something like reeking would be just fine, I think. We have the double Fs. Fs are actually good together. But at least in Scrabble logic. Might be a burden here for all we know. I am, maybe rekeying. Except this doesn't quite put things where we want for the bonuses. So I think we should just dump one of these for an I. And then get bonuses across the board. We might even clear depending on how good the multiplier is for us here. Given that we have the E multiplier here too that I always forget to think about. Oh, okay, most of the way. And since this gives me O, we might actually be in a pretty good space here in terms of being able to finish. Offertory. Do we have that? Offertory? No, we don't have the other R. But we can probably get pretty close. Can't quite do like a fender. Off something though. Offside, off-site. Site. This will get us over 143 points. If we put the multiplier here, I think this is actually going to be enough. I'm not really even calculating necessarily. Oh, offside is not good. Huh. I guess it's 2 words. Would be good to know for sure. Yeah, offside. I feel like maybe I did try that once in Scrabble as well and probably had a challenge off. Yeah, so I guess it's only 2 words. But we can also have like the fish ending if we know about various kinds of fish. Too bad we're so short of something like offertory. I feel like we can definitely hit if we just play enough the tiles that we have. But yeah, offshore is actually a good idea. That actually does hit quite nicely. And will probably get us over the line. It will probably do it. Let's just do it. We could have even, you know, done a mulligan to try to pick up a golden O or something, but I had almost no golden O's, I think, so. There we go. And there it is. Equalities for 642. That might actually be my new best play. My prior best play was like a 5-letter word, thrip for 500 something, because we just had to write multipliers. And yeah, okay. So we got a good number of achievements there. So yeah, if you look at what I have here, we played beeswax plus govern yesterday. I actually had another play, I think there was also another plus using 16 And yeah, equalities is our new record over here. Offsite not being in a dictionary is a laugh. Yeah, it's one of those where, you know, it's so weird that it hasn't been included. Oh, what's this? Ultra marathon mode. I don't know if I have time to stay for that today. So they're actually, okay, no wonder there's a secret achievement. That must be what it's for. So we spent way too long on this, but that's because that's entirely because I spent so long trying to get that golden achievement. I was originally thinking, oh, we'll just do this and then we'll do quick play to see if we can go for the gold, to see what the gold thing is about. But I didn't realize there was an ultra marathon mode. And the thing is, you can have a mid-file save if it turns out to be like really, truly very, very long. You know, like 50 rounds or something like that. But let me take a look, because so the Steam achievement that's at the bottom of the frequency list right now, and I'm just going to refresh it on my local side just to check the percentages. There are 3 achievements that are at 0% right now. One is win 50 games in strategic mode, which people will get because this is strategic mode and anybody who plays enough will just get it. It's just that the game hasn't been out for long enough that even if you decided to grind out easy 50 times, it would still be enough marathon session that, you know, you're not going to get it within the first day. Unless you're really, really fast and you sit at it totally continuously. So Word Perfect is the achievement that has a U on it, and I was wondering what it was, and it clearly is completing ultramarathon mode. So the thing is, if we actually do ultramarathon mode and we succeed, that actually could in fact be the first documented clear. So I think what we'll do is, yeah, the problem is that I'm so far into this stream already. Maybe we have to do an extra stream of this tomorrow. There is a way to resume a run that you're midway through, though. So maybe we can do it partially, but I would like to maybe do it all in one sitting so we can really try for it properly. Because there is one achievement. Let me think about this. I wasn't planning to stream tomorrow. I was planning to take a day off before Donkey Kong Bonanza. But it's very tantalizing to me that like you have this sitting here and it is actually, as far as I can tell, uncleared. Because the other achievement is to take gold in quick play. The clear rate for this is kind of somewhere between hard and legendary, which means we should do it easily. I got to think about this because you know, we spent way too long on this. But then the time was inflated by the achievement hunt. When we did legendary yesterday, we did it in about like maybe a little over an hour. Dr. Cliche, you're calling it now the Bonanza, and like banana is going to become the dominant spelling for anyone under 20. I think you're right. It's funny because every time I see somebody online try to talk about something like Super Mario Odyssey, you'll see, even within the same post by the same person and by somebody who has literally a screenshot of the title in front of them, they will misspell Odyssey in half a dozen ways and never actually manage to land it correctly. And to this day, people just don't know how to spell it. But yeah, I think you're kind of right that, you know, you have a certain demographic that doesn't even know the word bonanza that well. You know what? Oh, I could be sitting here another 2 hours I didn't expect. Well, we don't know what the benchmark for ultramarathon is, right? We don't know, because if it's something like 50 rounds, we can't do it today. There's no way. But it has, as far as I can tell, never been cleared. And so... But then we might have to be, you know, actually careful and optimal about it, and that's the thing that makes me think that, you know, we could be sitting here for ages and ages. I can do it tomorrow. The risk is that somebody else will get the clear first, because like it's currently, like I said, Legendary and Marathon are both kind of equivalent. They have about a 1% clear on them. The problem with interrupting a run is that I might kind of lose track of what my multiplier strategy is. And I feel like we might not be able to stay long enough to actually sit through it today. So I think my call is that I'm going to go for gold in quick play. We will cross our fingers that somebody else doesn't get first clear on me first, before I have a chance to stream it. And we'll do an extra stream tomorrow, I think. That's the call. Let's see what gold is. And the thing is, even if somebody else gets to clear first, I might very well get the first video clear of Ultramarathon, right? So, who knows? Maybe it's something that's unrecorded. Anyway, spell words to score points. Press this to submit your word. When you spell enough words, you'll get to pick a perk. Next round in 4 words. Next medal 500. So I guess you just need to get points. So I don't understand how the medal count works for this. So there's no benchmark that you need to hit. Instead of hitting a score, you just need to score as much as possible. Yeah, so actually I kind of like this idea because I already see some things like corn-fed, etc. But apart from that, corn-fed, conifer, co-inferred, we don't have the second R. But yeah, enforced, etc. But anyway, my point is that since there's no marker to hit to get the next perk, you score as much as you can per word. That seems to be what you have to do here. Okay, in that case, let's do it. Accordion. You see a 12, interesting. Let's take a look. Don't spoil it for me, actually. If you can put in... I'm going to punch in accordion first, then I'll read your chat message. Oh, you're saying unreconciled. Okay. Huh. Yeah, shortly, that's definitely good. I would be shocked if it weren't. Yeah, when you run out of plays, it's game over. So you have to score the most you can in 30 plays. So I don't know what the medal count for gold is, but we just try to score and score. Okay. Infule, like... But we can probably do a lot better than that. Olefines, if we want to get the point bonus over there. It just leaves a lot of direct. Let me take a look at Infule first to see what we're doing here. Leave might not matter as much for this mode because we just want to play words. And maybe we should try the strategy of just being greedy per word. There probably is something like an and something that maybe takes advantage of the double F. And also something that takes advantage of like SION. Effusion. What was the one that I saw prior to this? I saw olefins, right? Effusion is definitely better than that. Can't find a good word, etc. Yeah. We actually never used the shuffle button. I have not used the shuffle button at all in the course of playing this game. Anyway, we have stuff like wires, but you know, that's more for if you have point bonuses on the tiles that you can take advantage of. We can probably go for length instead for this one. Whoop, no. Wavered. Wheezed. I like wheezed, actually. It just has a lot of direct here, but Maybe that's what the shuffle button will eventually be for. But yeah, since we're not at the benchmark for the first round yet, let's just try to score and try to be in as good a position as we can. Point-wise, even if we're stuffing ourselves a bit with things that are not ideal. I guess the rounds would reset the bag as well, so if it works anything like the standard mode does. You saw Heavenward, that's interesting. Yeah. That's the problem with coming from a Scrapple background, is I have a massive blind spot for anything longer than 8. Some of the top players study 9 systematically. Very few people have exhaustive knowledge of 10s or beyond. Or have a lot of, you know, practice making them intuitive. Let's see if we can do something here with ING. Availing, I guess. Oh, do we totally mistype that? Availing. I see. Oh, we don't have Eve or Vexilla. Yeah, Dr. Cliché said you don't really play Scrabble, so you don't know Scrabble words, but you're okay at anagramming normal words. Yeah, there are a few people who kind of come from more of that background as well, in terms of the practice that they've had. And let's just go with that. Oh, you saw non-living. That's a good one. Yeah, there are definitely some blind spots you get when you prioritize value in Scrabble rather than just long-form anagramming generally. Don't lose a play if you submit a word with only 4 tiles. I doubt we want to do that. This is better because this pretty much automatically gives you length bonuses. Now, the thing about the wildcard is you cannot designate the blank. I realized that it actually auto-resolves to the first thing that alphabetically is available. So, for example, we had a play yesterday to get an achievement that was blank, 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 blank. It gets an achievement called Wildcard, which hardly anybody has. It's as rare as the Midas Touch right now. And with a 0.1 or something. But if you play blank, 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 it actually resolves to AAHS, Oz, because that's alphabetically the first available solution. Do played tiles vanish for the round? So I'll show you in the bag in just a moment. There's a play. Also, oh, the interface is actually a little bit different. It puts these in the bottom here in this mode rather than on the side. Oh well. So yeah, you can kind of see what you're looking at. We're not really going to use this, I think, but maybe if we ever need to do a bit of a rebalance, just to shed some tiles and grab some score, maybe this is good actually, because then you don't lose plays for counting up the score. Let's actually do this in case we need to do a rebalancing play. Oh, you only get 1 card. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought you get to stack like you do in the standard mode. Do you get to sell this? You can't. Okay, I see now. For quick play, you only get 1 modifier for the round. I didn't know that. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have taken it. Anyway. I see Extort, I see Axolotl. We see... not quite extrapolation, unfortunately. I actually just like playing Axolotl. Gives you a pretty good remaining pool as well. And... yeah. Almost. Nope, hang on. I think we'll just take it. We should actually think about going longer for this mode, but... oh, you suggested ornamental. That would have been a lot better, I think, actually. But... I see weapons, but we can probably do better than that. We don't have the B for anything there, or the I for that matter. We could probably do something with the ED ending. I actually think weapon might be good, but we'll think about that in just a moment. Also, the meter ending would be good if we have something that can go with it. I don't think we do, though. But yeah, I don't think about the ENT and ANT endings nearly as much as I should. Because it's, again, like, you know, ornamented is still available, similar to ornamental. And we can go for some of the length bonuses. You saw Demonstrate and Wonderment. Wonderment, I would bet it paralyzes. I would be really surprised if it didn't. Most things that are nouns do, unless there's special exceptions. It's in Scrabble, which is not to say that isn't here. But yeah, because my bot uses Scrabble dictionaries. This game uses Wordnik, which is the one that was used for Battle Royale. And so for short words, it's pretty inclusive. For long words, there are some pretty frequent blind spots, I would say. We ran into some lexicon issues a few times yesterday. I see arbiters, rare bits, probably some things with... There's rapidity. I'm just thinking, not quite disparity. There is probably something that you can do swarthily. Too bad. No L. Bipartisan, no, we don't have the right vowels for it. Breathy. Can't quite go breathier. Swarthier. Swarthier is better, actually, in terms of the length bonuses. I like that. And you saw a couple of 9s as well. Brawnius and Banishers. Q here is just a bit of a dead tile. Yeah, in this mode, we actually might have to go for refreshes at some point, depending on how things go. I'm just trying to think about, yeah, a lot of this is kind of drag. So yeah, at the end of each round, if it works like it does in the standard mode, it just refreshes the bag. As you can see, it looks like in this mode that you don't have bonuses that accumulate round by round, and so you don't have a long-term strategy, and so that's going to be a bit of an adjustment in how we are approaching this. I see prevents. You think presbyters is a word like a Presbyterian? Let's see. Yeah, I guess it is a word from religion. I actually don't think I knew that one. Oh, I guess it's also presbyt. In case you ever want to surprise somebody who thinks you're dangling byte for megabyte or kilobyte or something, you put a PRES in front of it. And say surprise. Now, this, we never use these. We actually never really use refreshes either, so, but these I find are not great because they basically kill your length bonuses. I mean, I haven't really tried them because I just don't take them. I think intuitively they're not great. We have Quackery would have been nice. Quirkily, I like that. I actually don't think we'll do better than that in terms of just that working out. Does ERS count as 3 letters for a 20-letter word? I don't know. I don't know how that achievement is implemented. I assumed that it was actually just playing 20 tiles, because the thing is, the way that in the info screen it tracked my longest play did track special tiles like the plus. But I have no idea. It's actually kind of unclear. Because nobody's achieved it, right? So nobody can actually say right away. Anyway, I see updates. I see probably a couple of things that can be out-jabbed. No. Out-jobbed. I doubt it, but let's see about this. Out. Maybe. Let me think about this. You have like adjusted. No second D. It's interesting how, you know, this quick play mode kind of like feels like playing from round 1, right? Where you just get no bonuses. It's just raw words. And it's actually a very different kind of mentality. Metos to get a few more point bonuses. I kind of like the idea of just going something like jobbed, but maybe we can do something quite a bit better. Maybe there's still something that we haven't quite thought about here yet. Jabbed would be better. I feel like we can still... We don't have something like jabbered. Jutted might be better, but do we want to... No, we'll just go... Well, we have 2 A's and 2 O's, but 2 O's go today to get it better. Let's just go jabbed. You saw a speedboat. Yeah, I don't know if I wanted to leave stuff like UUJ and such on the board, though. But I guess if we're playing greedy for the points, as we should be, then we should do that. So is B my medal? I guess it is. B for bronze. So eventually it'll be a benchmark for gold. We have like the ISM ending. We have IES, IST. Let me think about this. Muggiest. Maybe there's something better in there. Is guesstimate in the Scrabble dictionary? I feel like it would have 2 S's. I bet it is. But, oh, it actually is good with 1 S. Okay. I wonder if it's good in both lexica. I usually have lexicon symbols, but the lexicon symbols tend to fail in the bot. I just checked, and yeah, guesstimate with both configurations of S's is good in both Scrabble dictionaries. It's one of those where, you know, the only way that you would ever see it happen is if estimate is already on the board and you have the GU dumped in front of it or something. I wouldn't have thought about that actually as being valid with just the 1S. Anyway, we have like accurate. We'll see if there's something better. Comparison, no. Operatic. Occupation, no, occupied, occupier. Still a lot of 8s here. copacetic. No, we don't have the second C. You know, outpaced. I'm still seeing just 8s across the board, so we'll probably go with... What was it I had earlier? I had something here. It wasn't that accurate or something. Occupied would be better. We leave too many A's and O's behind, but... You saw audio tape, that's very nice. And capacitor. Yeah. You're doing quite a lot better with the long words than I am. It's actually probably a better skill set for this game, to be honest, to be able to go long and get a lot of length bonuses. I'm pretty confident in, you know, finding things around constraints when we're trying to set up things like golden tiles or emerald tiles or whatever, and trying to hit specific spots. Because again, that's Scrabble skill set, but you know, for actual play finding for longer than 8, that's not something that necessarily comes naturally. Mirror tiles copy the letter and score of the tile to the left. That's if you want to double up on an existing one at 20 points. So G, I feel like that's not going to be frequent enough. Especially because the modifier is only good for 1 round, right? But then I wonder if the gifts actually stay in between rounds. Because it just says next round, so it might be that when you have adding modifier tiles, maybe they just don't come up in this round. Unless you just play rapidly enough to draw into them. So yeah, it's a very pure form of the game actually to play in the quick play here, because you just don't really have any crutch at hand. At some point we're going to have to spend some of these refreshes. This is getting a little bit unplayable, but out offer. I actually don't know if this is good. I feel like it's not. I would be kind of surprised if it is. Yeah, no. Again, we still don't have offer Tories or anything after something. Yeah, we probably want to exchange the whole board pretty soon. But for now, we'll just go Fators and try to draw more constants, I guess. You found Nefarious and Notorious. Yeah, I should have looked harder. I should have been able to see those. Yeah, now we just have too much duplication across the board. We should probably use this thing soon. Yeah, given that we have so few crutches to work with in terms of modifiers and bonuses, we actually should be spending more time trying to go long. But let's think about this. I feel like we have something like arrow. Arrow not quite. Arrow foil, not quite. Afternoon. Oh, you got that one as well. Afternoon. It would be like areole. At least in Scrabble, that would be the solution. And the only one in there. Okay, so this is the mirror tile, and yeah, with what we're looking at here, I don't think it's actually going to be very useful. Allowance. Whale song, I want to say, but no. Narwhale. Oh, no, we don't have the R. Let's see. I'm just going to go Wallow, and I don't know. That doesn't seem very good. Halloween is probably not good. It's, you know, I don't think it's generic or ever lowercase. I mean, we can show you that's not. I do not think it's good. It's good. Halloween, huh? Is it good in Scrabble? So, interesting. Halloween is in WordNick, but not in Scrabble. So, that's actually the first instance I've seen so far in this game. In Babel, I remember there were some short words that were in WordNick, but not in Scrabble. But Halloween is the first one I've seen. It's not in either Scrabble lexicon because it's only ever proper noun. And for the most part, you know, the WordNick dictionary, I think, follows Scrabble principles when it comes to only proper nouns that have been sufficiently genericized. But we don't quite have vexatious here. We don't have the O for that. Or the U for that, rather. Too bad. We're so close to vexatious. We have sexist. We have probably... Yeah, too bad. Would have been nice to have vexatious. This mirror tile is actually just taking up space. I mean, it would be nice to double up on something, but I... Star... Oh, too bad we don't have the R here, and then we could have doubled the I. 6 star, yeah. Woodsias. I almost want to spend the mirror tile just on the O just to get it out of the way, but maybe we can have something better. You think shadowiest is good? Shadowiest, interesting. I guess the mirror tile stays in our pool though. The thing about adding the gifts is that maybe they persist past the rounds. Refresh ignores any tiles in the submission bar. If we want to do a selective refresh, that might be really interesting. Final score is multiplied by 2 during special rounds. I don't know when the special rounds are in quick play, that's the thing. But they clearly exist, otherwise this wouldn't give it to you. Oh, I see. You could turn this into a special round, and then you'll multiply the score. So you can voluntarily make this a special round. To score minimum 6. We could do that every time. That's easy. So yeah, you can voluntarily turn it into your own special round. When I was playing through Hard and Legendary yesterday, I did play some tiles that were... So sometimes when you get multiplicative bonuses that are based on things like, you know, first and last tile have to be the same, or you have 2 tiles that are together, etc. Then the best place sometimes actually is a 4 or a 5. Because you can set something up very precisely to get yourself, I don't know, like a ×8 multiplier. And so there were a few cases where we were playing super short words just to do that, or to just barely get over the line for the next round threshold. In this mode, obviously, that doesn't apply. And yeah, this is actually not great. It would have been nice if we had a C or something to go like civvy. But... Export. Too bad we don't have the G. I really don't like so many V's here, though. Too bad we can't go overtext. I don't think it would be overtext. Over mine is definitely good. I think we'll just take it. Just to get rid of the V and some other things. The mirror tile is kind of a dead weight right now, but if we can figure out how to use it, we will. Because, yeah, maybe there's something that we can do with it. No, don't have an E for that. We have an ED ending. We have the EX start for, you know, extents. Extravagant. Oh, come on, really? Almost. Almost. That would have been extravagant. And I almost think that, you know, when we have the double tile for something like narrative, as you're saying, that we should just get rid of the mirror tile because it's currently just obstructing rather than making things more flexible. But let's think about this first, though, because I think we can probably... I wonder if you can do expatting, like, if you're being an expat. I doubt it. I think expat is probably just a noun, but I want to check this just in case. I didn't think so. Parading. Depraving. I like that. I like that a lot, in fact. Yeah. And yeah, you get some really nice scores here because hitting 6 letters is not an issue. We've got both mirror tiles now, so, and we've got triple E's. So this is particularly bad. But you know what? We could probably do something with like a double Z. I don't know if I can see something that would have the double Z that is longer than 6, though. Because, again, this is the kind of stuff that never, ever comes up in Scrabble because you would need to burn a blank to double the Z, right? So, because I was thinking of stuff like, you know, Tatsa. Like, which may or may not be good in this dictionary, might not be, but it's stuff where it's the junk words in Scrabble that people actually just do not care about studying whatsoever, because when are you going to have multiple Zs? So the mirror, you know what? Why don't we just go... Unfortunately, we can't go shorter than 0, but it actually just copies the mirror as well. It can continue like that. We don't have the P for pizzazz or something, unfortunately, but... We don't have an I for something like Zaritza. Zarevna. We could try to draw into a P or something for her. You know, something like that. I'm definitely thinking about whether we can do something with the duplication on the Z, though, because in terms of a high point tile that actually does duplicate well, the Z is one of the few things that would qualify. So maybe we just save this, and then when we're in the next round, we just go Z to Z once we no longer have this constraint. And we just dump all that stuff. And for now, we'll just try to go nice and cheap. And if we can get something like pizza, then we will. Or pizzazz. That matter. But, well, pizzazz would be 4 Zs, so maybe not. Threaten. The point bonus counts more than the X, so we should just take it. That's better. I'm just wondering about whether we can take this a little further. Not necessarily. Oh, you thought about Ratine. Yeah, that's right. That's actually a pretty quizzical, you see. Oh, no, we don't have to see. But you see, that's the kind of thing that we could have gone for, potentially. It's just that we don't have it. Oh, we don't have my username either. We might double to do something like the quartile. Let's just take quartile. I think it's going to be easier to spend this once we're no longer constrained by the 6-letter thing. Let's just do quartile. Score what we can. Oh, we got gold already. I actually never saw what the benchmark was for hitting gold because we just blew past it. I saw it was 1,000 for hitting silver. I never even noticed that we picked up gold. So I guess we'll just keep going until we finish the remaining plays. So when submitting, the second tile will score 3 times its points, so we should do that. If a word doesn't have 2 consonants in a row, then multiply the final score by 2. That seems easy to do. It's just that you would use the duplication on vowels instead. So let me take a look at what we have. I think we take the first of those for this round, because that's going to be easier to work with. I see stuff like Kilix already, but of course you get more of a bonus for having something here. I actually wonder if well, let's try it. I feel like we could have done a lot better. That gives up on the idea of doubling the Z, but juggled. Although if you do an X something, biddable is a good idea. I like that. Surely that's good. I see cutouts. Oh, well, no, we don't have the second T for it. Stucco, if we duplicate one C instead of spelling it. Tuck shop. No, we don't have the H. We might actually just go something like stucco, scouting. Yeah, we don't have the second T like I was saying, but if we... Yeah, this is actually kind of a bit of a weird set to work with here. I think we just go with stucco and then we duplicate to get rid of it. It's taking up too much space. I'd rather just kill it. Maybe we shouldn't have spent the Z because, again, like the Z is maybe one of the only things that's good with the mirror. There are very few things that'll go with it. You're thinking stuccoing? If you build something with stucco, then yeah. But we didn't have the N, like you were saying. Anyway, we probably have something with the X into spots. This is the last round that we have, the last play that we have that has the ×3, so we should try to... Oh, we don't have the O here. Try to make use of that. Ixia by itself is probably just good too, but we can probably go way longer than that. Expect, exact, X. Yeah, but if we can just go for a longer word, maybe that doesn't even necessarily matter. Oh, come on. Almost adjudicate. Oh, maybe it's just adjudicate. Adjudicate. Never mind. Adjudicate? Adjudicate. We don't actually know how to spell around here. So, you know what? We'll probably just go exact or expat. I want to keep the C to go with the K for that synergy. I feel like we can do way better than this, but... Fratricide, not quite. Yeah, even if it's something like a jig, defig, then we can at least get rid of some things, right? It doesn't get you much of a bonus, but it does give you a little bit more in return. Nah, let's just go expat. Take the bonus while we can, I would say. I didn't actually map that out to count the score. I'm just thinking about what would still be useful here. If the word has no E in it, multiplied the final score by 2. Guess what? We don't have an E. Word contains 2 identical letters in a row. That would have... Well, you don't get synergies in this, I guess. Well, adding gift tiles does synergize with modifiers, but you only have 1 modifier, so you can't stack modifiers. You were thinking tackified? I don't know if I would have tried that. You can make it tacky? Yeah, I guess you can. You would tackify something, huh? Good one to remember, especially as a 7. If the word contains 2 identical letters in a row, let's think about this. We have, of course, the, you know, G here. But we don't have the L for juggalo. I think, though, this is more dependable, especially because we don't have anything in the first one here. So, for example, you have Fuji, Kufi, Juicing, unfortunately no N. And, let's see. Do we actually have the U for... Oh, we do have judicious. Yesterday I tried Justicar, not realizing that I only remembered that from Mass Effect, and it's actually Justice CR, like C-I-A-R, not C-A-R, and so we definitely had some of the J-U words in mind. Not quite the Y for judiciary, but... Let's see, at this point we're past the gold achievement, we're just going to finish this up and... Yeah, unfortunately this mode, because you don't have many modifiers to work with, is not very good for setting up achievements. But, the more you know. I mean, we've only got 5 plays left here anyway. I see 4 gone. But we want to go with no E, right? So we can probably... See, I can see. Thank. That's not very good. Frog spawn, not quite. However, we can probably do rogation. I'm wondering if there's a double F that we can do here. Maybe. Yeah, I think rogation also goes with like Brigatoni or something, right? No, we don't have the other I. I think maybe this is fine, unless we have an ing ending that we haven't looked at, which might be good. Like you know, even just thanking or something is actually a lot better score-wise. Franking, like making sausages? Maybe. Let's consider that for just a moment. It might not be a bad idea. I'm gonna try it, actually. I think it's something sausage related, right? You saw affronting, that would have been good. Yeah, because I was trying to stay off the E, right, for this round. But affronting would have been good. For sure. Now we have a whole bunch of E's to look at, but if we need to, then we will. Not quite error flow, unfortunately, but yeah, we actually are reasonably close to frog spawn now, but not quite. Wall, something wall. Frog wall, north wall. Thong wall, not really. Oh. And how long? Actually, yeah, a foot long to go with the franking that we just had. I guess that's thematically appropriate. Oh, you saw orthogonal. Do you have orthogonal? I haven't been looking at the AL endings enough. That's been a bit of a blind spot. Now the thing is, if we have a sufficiently long word, let's not think too much about the final score. Here we can, if we have a particularly long ending, we should just take it. You know, if we have like dowries or something, we can. Oh, you know what? Look at this. In this mode, the length bonuses are actually, they escalate much faster than in the standard mode. So I've been severely undervaluing long words because in the standard mode it goes like 5, 5, 10, 10 or something. It takes a while to rack up. I wonder what it is in the second row. In fact, if it, yeah, look at this. The bonuses are actually absolutely massive in this mode. I hadn't been paying attention to it at all. It significantly incentivizes going for length in a way that we just never really considered properly. I didn't even look at the numbers here because it actually is worthwhile to go long then, even if you are burning that particular idea. If, you know, the shortest, if the best word that we can find without ease is significantly shorter. Yeah, I didn't even look at that because that actually is a very significant consideration. So as he showered, we saw something else earlier that I think was better, but dowries, no, showered is fine. Wash something. Air show. I don't think air showed would be good. Might as well try it, but I don't think so. Air shows might be good though if we go for an 8. In fact, it also has no E, so let's just go air shows. Oh, road shows. That's not a bad idea. And yeah, we you saw that we also had Woodsias again, which we played earlier. If two adjacent tiles share the same letter, both score double. I don't think that's actually particularly good. It would have been good with, you know, the Z plus mirror idea earlier, but let's just take points. Woomera. We can probably do a lot better than that though. Over something. Overmind is once again fine. Is there something mineral? I'm not sure. Do we have wilderness? We don't have the S for that. Levier. Mealworm. No, we don't have the M. Overawed. Over. I think overmind is fine. Oh, you saw Wolverine. That's a very nice one. Didn't think to look for something like that. Yeah, I think you'd actually do quite a bit better at this mode than I would, because you've got a sharper eye for some of the long words. But over odd is once again available, but maybe we can do something. Wolverine again. Well, since it's available, we might as well just take it, right? Unless we have something over something ing. Over. We'll just say Wolverine. He's all redeveloping. Very nice. Gold medal chief. Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, I see. Because we expended our last plays. Okay, I see. Yeah. I didn't realize we were at the end. I wasn't even looking at the play counter. I just saw that we got the gold medal at some point. Yeah. So this is probably a good length for the stream. So yeah, originally, like I was saying, I was going to probably stop and just take a break tomorrow and head to Donkey Kong. But if Ultra Marathon has indeed been uncleared at this point, I'm going to see if I can make time to come back for an extra stream to do it. And hopefully we can actually get through it in a sitting. And if we get the first clear or the first video clear or whatever, all the better. But if we clear it at all, then, you know, we'll see what happens. It does seem conspicuous to me that it is still uncleared. Maybe it is a significant bump up from these two here, which are a little over 1% in Steam right now. So yeah, we will go for it. But we'll go for it next time. And in terms of achievement hunting, let me see. There are a few that, again, are kind of grind based, you know, win 50 games. The 20-letter one, I think you need to have a particularly fortuitous circumstance for that. The other ones that are low probability, there's one that's called A to Z, which is complete the next letter in the alphabet challenge. I don't know if that's something that you're given, like one of the challenge modifier tiles, or if that's something you have to set up manually. I suspect that if it's described as a challenge, it's one of the challenge modifiers where you have to kind of, you know, boost your streak every turn or something, and you probably have to rotate through all the letters of the alphabet. We don't know what that one is yet. But we have pretty much all the other achievements that not many people have grabbed. We have Midas Touch, which we got today. We have the one where you spell only using wildcard tiles. Oh, there's one where you spell 3 words using 2+ tiles. We haven't done that yet, but again, you need a pretty specific draw in a particular run to get that. Maybe with something to duplicate the plus tile as well, if you have a duplication effect. But yeah, pretty happy with how we've been doing. We went way too slowly on this today because we spent so long setting up, but we eventually managed to get the thing I was going for and eked out a win on the other side. So in terms of our records here, equalities is still up top. And Dr. Cliche were asking, how do you even get to 20 letters to play? Yeah, if it's 20 tiles, well, you have a 16 tile grid, but there are effects that will allow you to extend it by, I think, maybe 3 additional slots. And there are effects that allow you to duplicate a tile, and the tile stays on the right side inside the effect slot that you have for it. So you need to do something very specific to get it. You need to do one of the, not the modifiers, the, whatever you call them, upgrades. Upgrades that kind of hold a duplication off grid for you. And you need that in conjunction probably with extending the available grid. So you need a very specific draw to actually even make an attempt at that, I think. And then you would need to actually play the word. So you're thinking stuff like the ERS tile counts as 3 letters. That might make more sense because then you have some other things like the QU tile and the ING tile. And that would make the achievement significantly more attainable. So I think you might actually be right about that, but we don't know because the actual description of the achievement is vague about that. I guess it says 20-letter word, so maybe, but then it counts this as longest ever word, so who knows. But yeah, we'll stop here. We will see if we can come back soon for Ultra Marathon. And if not, then we'll have to try to squeeze it in sometime between all the Donkey Kong business that we also have going on. So, thanks so much for joining me, and yeah, I'm glad to have you here, Dr. Cliche, just kind of, you know, showing me up when it comes to finding anything over 8 letters. And if you take a stab at this, I think you would do particularly well with the quick play. But again, there are a lot of things that reward long words just in general, you know. Just finding long words is a skill set that's going to get you through every circumstance in the game, even when the bonuses don't quite line up and the RNG doesn't quite cooperate. But yeah, we will probably stop here for now. And we'll send you folks off to somewhere else very soon. And so I guess we'll be on this dictionary for a little while longer. I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I know how to mod the game to use the full Scrabble lexicon, something like calling Scrabble words. But of course, modding disables the Steam achievements, as it should. So until we get the achievements that we're going for, specifically, we'll definitely want to get the ultimate. We're not modding this game just yet, so we'll just have to play around the limitations of the dictionary, and occasionally you get the benefit of playing something like Halloween, which is surprisingly present. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. And yeah, if you want to catch up on anything like our run through the legendary difficulty, it is, of course, up on YouTube from yesterday. But not a lot of people have uploaded good runs of this game yet, so, you know, we're kind of getting in while it's available. Until next time, have a wonderful time with whatever you be playing, or making, or unscrambling. And as always, fare thee well.